from now, can you believe it? Kids across the province will be heading back to school, but it won't be the normal return as we all know. While boards grapple with what classrooms will look like, so too are school bus operators who will face a whole new world. So what protocols, safety protocols are being implemented and how many kids will be allowed on each bus? Those are important questions. And to help answer some of those, we've got Nancy Daigneault, the Executive Director of School Bus Ontario, joining us live. Good morning, Nancy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
You're busy right now, aren't you?
It's crazy busy, and we are trying to determine all of the answers to those questions that you have. It's some of the biggest questions out there right now are how many kids are going to be on each bus. We don't have the answers for that. What's happening is the school boards this week are surveying parents to try to find out how many kids are going to be back in the classroom and how many kids are going to be taking the bus. Once we get those surveys back next week, then we're going to be in a better position to be able to communicate to everybody how many kids are going to be on the bus.
And just to get an idea, sorry, Nancy, just to get an idea of just how unprecedented this is, would you normally have that kind of information during a typical school year at this point?
No, we wouldn't. And in fact, at this point in the school year, we would probably have our routes. The school bus operators would have their routes. They'd be doing dry runs to make sure the timing is accurate and whatnot, make sure all the stops are in a safe spot and everything. We don't have that yet because we're still in the process of doing all of the surveys of the parents to find out how many kids are going to be going back to school. We're also dealing with PPE, making sure that the drivers feel safe. The province just announced they're giving us PPE. That's great news. They announced $40 million for cleaning and sanitizing buses. That's great news, but we're trying to figure out how that money is going to flow to us. All of these things have added up to a level of uncertainty that we've never seen before.
Now, you're waiting on those numbers. Once you get them, I wonder if you can give an idea. When you walk onto a school bus, what is it going to look like?
Okay, so when the student walks on the school bus, the driver is going to be wearing a mask, a visor, and is going to be wearing gloves. And they're going to be assigned seating, so they're going to have to go up in advance. We're going to be letting people know what the assigned seating is. They're going to have to go up, sit in their assigned seat, and then they move on. When the school bus starts, the driver will take the visor off. The visor is only there for embarking the bus and getting off. And the reason for that is we're concerned about glare on the visor itself during driving, so that's why they're just going to keep the masks on. We are recommending that students wear masks. We know that the protocol from the ministry is grade 4 and up to wear masks, and under grade 4 to wear masks if you can. We would like to see everybody wearing masks. It will go a long way in helping the drivers feel a lot more comfortable about coming back to work in the fall. We do have an issue right now where we have a lot of drivers. We're very pleased. Most of them are saying they're going to come back.
Oh, good.
But we do have, though, those fence sitters that are waiting to see how many kids are going to be on the bus.
Right.
So as soon as we know that, we'll be in a better position to communicate exactly where we're going to be.
And about drivers, too, I'm curious, around this time of year, there is, a kind of a call out looking for new employees. Are you going to have the right number of drivers?
Well, this is the thing that we're not going to know until we get really, really close to the date. Driver retention is always an issue because it's a split shift during the day. Not everybody wants to do that type of work. So it tends to attract a lot of retirees, which is another issue we're facing because 60% of our drivers are over the age of 60, which automatically puts them into a high-risk category for contracting COVID. So that's an additional burden that we're having to deal with this year. Obviously, we're doing all of the normal things that we would do to attract drivers, trying to get as many people trained as possible before the startup of the school year, 50 hours of work to learn how to drive a school bus. Plus, there's a lot of background checks. And to complicate it even more, throughout the summer, during the lockdowns, there wasn't an ability to do a lot of that training.
Right. And I'm just wondering, we've got 4 weeks before the first day of class for so many kids. When are you going to have all of these decisions made?
We're hoping, well, soon it's all going to be contingent upon those surveys that are going out to parents this week. We know that the ministry and the school boards will be getting those surveys back next week. They'll be crunching the numbers. They'll communicate that to us, and then we're going to be in a better position. So the deadlines this year are a lot tighter than normal.
And I guess if you have one message for parents and kids, what would it be?
We're doing everything we can possibly do in a COVID environment. Everything is different this year. Every sector in the province is having issues starting back up, as are we. But we're taking every precaution possible to ensure the health and safety of the students and drivers. That is always our #1 priority.
Thanks so much, Nancy. Some really critical information there. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
And Frank, I wonder, when you're listening to this, that survey that's going out to parents, we're learning that the answers from that are really going to help things beyond the classroom.
Yeah, which is good. And I was really not thinking too much about school buses at the time. My son will be taking a school bus, and to think the kids that are on there and the drivers themselves, there's so many different elements that it has to for kids to get back to school.
Yeah.
So Melissa, we're going to have to wait and see. That was good. That was some good information there.
Yeah,
by
it
the
really
way.
was.